Education. And joining us now, we have a very special guest that you might recognize, Miss Carrie Madden. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. And you brought these bags to talk about. And so tell us a little bit about some of the outreach that you're doing here.
We have been trying to do over the past 2 years some things to help people out in Kinseys memory. One of the things we've done is collected totes to donate to women in domestic violence centers, people escaping domestic violence situations. And in 2 years, we've donated over 300 totes in 3 states, California, Idaho, and Utah so far. This year, we're hoping to actually expand it nationwide. And so these are some samples of the totes that we're collecting this year. We're going to be kicking off our tote drive tomorrow. And every one of them gets tied with a tag with Kinseys Pitcher and her name and a little encouraging message on the back.
What are some of the things that you're filling the totes with? Oh, here's a picture.
So these totes, we actually just donate the totes, and then the shelters might put some things in them that they feel necessary. Our idea with giving them to the centers is a lot of people, when they leave a domestic violence center, or when they leave a domestic violence situation, they leave without anything. And when the women are at the shelter, sometimes they're given a lot of information or they're trying to rebuild their lives, and we feel that this is kind of the first step. They have a place to keep their items and, you know, kind of go out there and feel positive, and just a little message to keep them going.
Yeah, and you tell Kinsey's story all the time to different groups. And one of the things when we talked about that you mentioned, she had this goal of becoming a police officer and an FBI agent. And I understand there's a scholarship in her name.
We do have a scholarship at Utah State University in Logan. She was very serious about education, and we immediately set that up, and it's permanent fund there. Once we got it to $25,000, it became permanent. Just this year, we were able to award the first recipient. So every year, somebody will receive a scholarship in Kinsey's memory, and we just want to keep it growing. We want to keep her memory alive and everything that she stood for. She worked so hard at school, and she was well on her way to becoming a police officer.
And real quickly, can you tell us a little bit about some of the warning signs that, you know, we should be looking out for?
You know, it's interesting because in this situation, we tell people there really weren't a lot of obvious warning signs. In her situation, it was more of a kind of an obsession that he had with her that for a young couple didn't seem out of the ordinary. And so I try to encourage people, especially when I go and speak to the younger kids at the schools, that it's not okay if somebody's constantly texting you or calling you or messaging you on Facebook or whatever if you've asked them to stop or you've tried to back away. And it doesn't seem like a serious threat, but obviously it is. And I know that night, I don't think Kinsey ever thought Jared was coming with a gun. If he showed up, she figured there might be a verbal confrontation. So it's just, I don't think you can take anything, you know, be too cautious, I guess, with any of it. If you're uncomfortable, then that's a problem.
Right. Absolutely, for sure. And, you know, there are some resources locally as well. We touched on those a little bit. But specifically, you talk to groups all the time. What are some of the feedback response you've gotten from them?
You know, it's been very interesting. I've spoken to both men and women and some kids at Emerson High School. And it's been very positive for me. It's hard to share the story sometimes, and it's interesting to watch a lot of people think that will never happen to me, or I'm not. When I actually spoke to 3 groups of male offenders, and to watch some of them think I couldn't do that, or, you know, my relationship isn't that bad. But it really, I think it touches them, it gets to them. My point in all of this, and kind of what helps me heal and keep going, is to keep sharing our story, raise awareness, and make people think. And if I make either a man or a woman think about a relationship they're in and think, you know, hey, maybe something's not right, or I'm uncomfortable, or, you know, I need to step away, then I've done something good in memory of Kinsey and John. And that's kind of what you know, public speaking was never my thing. It's just kind of been coming to me, but I want to share the story. I've kind of been the one approaching these agencies to come and speak. And it's really helped me, too, to kind of see both sides of it. But like I said, I just think it's important to keep getting the message out there. And like I said, a lot of people don't think it happens in our community. And I think if people see this personal story, or people see me and say, hey, you know, her daughter was murdered, you know, I can step away from this violent relationship, or I need to step away from my kids. And that's what's really important for people to know.
Yeah, and Carrie, you are so incredibly strong. We really want to thank you for coming in and sharing your story, opening up with us. It's just incredible.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, and if you'd like more information on some domestic violence resources, all that stuff, please visit our website, localnews8.com.
All right, and stick around after the break. Chris is coming up with your forecast. Stay with us.